Conversation.
Every citizen.
The kind of shoes that I would normally wear for protesting would have to be flat shoes.
Boots, they kind of just signify power. There's just something about them.
Going without shoes puts us in touch with the actual stuff of creation.
And they kind of help you feel like you're getting to your goal in a small way.
When I put on a pair of my favourite boots, I feel kind of quite liberated. There's just something quite powerful about boots.
Today, I think I'm going to wear a pair of sandals, which are nice and comfortable and flat. And they're also red, which I thought was appropriate, being it the colour of socialism.
I'm wearing my electric blue Doc Martens. I really like how they're really heavy and it makes me feel more powerful because you're kind of like stomping along. They match up to me as a person because I'm quite a strong person.
There are still people in the world that go barefoot because simply can't afford shoes. And we've kept on this tradition, partly as a kind of gentle way of saying, well, there are so many things we could actually do without. You know, you don't really need the latest Jimmy Choos.
One thing I've always been really angry about is how I just walk out my door, I'm just walking to the shop, and people think that it's acceptable to toot me in their cars or shout at me on the street. It's about saying this is actually harassment, and I think it's really important to raise the issue with people what harassment actually is.
Today's protest really is to highlight the fact that whilst there are savage spending cuts across the country, you've got 120 billion in tax being avoided by wealthy companies and wealthy individuals who effectively aren't paying their tax in this country.
We are an enclosed order, we don't normally go out. We see our calling to stay here within the monastery and to pray for the world. It means that we live a very simple lifestyle without so many things that seem to be considered essential these days. We don't have personal possessions.
One of the main issues I campaign about is Islamophobia. The 9/11 and 7/7 really kind of woke me up to seeing how people distorted my faith, but also how the media and the world kind of reacted, made Muslims enemy number one basically, and that really motivated me. I do see a lot wrong with the world and I kind of want to do my bit. It's kind of like saying I am a Muslim woman and I am strong and independent.
We don't engage with society at large, but we just feel it's our calling in the church to bring all these sorrows to God in our prayer. We believe, and even in quite big ways sometimes, there's answer to prayer. If you do have faith, you'll see amazing things happen around you because you believe in God's presence in whatever's going on.
I think the act of walking is really good because it's like reclaiming your street. It's like one of the common chances whose streets are streets, and it's about saying, look, this is my town as well, this is my place. There is definitely a solidarity globally. Women in all cultures should not have the same fear of sexual violence, attack. Women should feel safe no matter what they wear. If someone chooses to deviate from the cultural norm, then they shouldn't be punished. It's about saying, if I want to dress like this, I should be able to without getting attacked. No matter what situation you're in, when it comes to saying no to sex, no means no.
Significance of shoes in Islam, basically you take off shoes when you go to the mosque because it's a sign of respect, because shoes, you are basically touching the dirty ground. So when you enter the mosque, you want to enter it on a kind of a pure kind of basis. And when, shoes were thrown at Bush, for example, basically it's a way to disrespect him, and obviously he doesn't deserve any respect. I think it's always fine to criticise your own society. I think if you don't, then how are you meant to improve it? At the end of the day, it's still fighting for a better society.
When you come together in a majority, it just kind of invigorates you. You know that you're not on your own. It just makes your heart sing. Sometimes protesting or taking action or taking industrial action is the only possibility that you have to kind of have a say in the way that society is controlled. Our elections aren't particularly democratic. There isn't much to choose from between the ruling parties, and people feel disengaged and disenfranchised from society. And actually, it's about saying to people, you can actually change society.
Maybe in quite a gentle and non-judgmental way, we've got a message for people to say that, but you don't really need a lot of these things. You can actually do without them and be really happy and fulfilled, and probably happier actually.
I've always thought that it's really important to stand up for what you believe in. It's acknowledging that our society may not be perfect. It's about coming together with other people to educate.
I think it is the responsibility of people within our society to try and change the way that our country works, the way that our society is organised, so that it operates in the interests of the majority as opposed to in the interests of a few people at the top.
I do want to make the world a better place. The ideal world for me is when everyone is equal. It doesn't matter what background, race or sexuality you are all basically equal. The responsibilities that you have in a democracy, I think, is to hold powerful people to account. It has to be done by the normal people. Normal people have to say enough is enough. They have to get out and be the ones to actually make the change.